Hi, I'm here with Karnesh Babaria, and you ran for VP of Student Life with these past HSF elections, and they didn't really go your way. You were unfortunately disqualified along with a couple other candidates. Before we sort of go into the details of what's going to be happening this week, let's sort of talk about why you were disqualified. Of course, it's a 3-strike policy, so what exactly were all 3 of those strikes?
Okay, I'll begin with the first one. There was a policy which stated that we cannot put up posters inside the residence,
Right.
except the main floor lobby and the cafeteria. So I was not sure about those areas, like what they exactly mean. And in the old candidates meeting, in the first meeting which we had, Natalia said that if you get permission from athletics, you can put it up inside athletics. And I sort of worked my way around it, and I got permission from the residence people. So I
Right.
took it from the residents, and I was approved 10 posters per floor. I just put 2 or 3 per floor so that I don't end up like, because I did not see any other candidates' posters.
And you didn't
like,
want to push it, I guess,
exactly.
yeah.
So I just limit myself, and then that evening, like the very next evening, I get a strike immediately. And I spoke to Natalia. I told her that, instead of a strike, just give me a time frame that if you don't remove it in that time frame, you can give me a strike after that. And that was the first one. After that, the second one was at the end of the campaigning period. It was because I had my posters put up after the given time frame.
Right.
And I personally had made sure that I remove all my posters. So all of that was checked. And after that, that's what I know, that because none of my team members, my team members were right around me, and I was sitting over there as well, so someone else has put up a poster instead of me, and I was so certain about it that I told Natalia, you can check the video surveillance, which she wouldn't agree to do so, and at the point when she agreed to do that, we were too late because I was disqualified at the last night.
Right.
And then the third one was regarding 2 posts which I take responsibility for completely, because I forgot to remove the posts and which stated that I'm running for becoming a VP and asking for people's support.
And this was online?
This was online.
Oh, okay.
So it was it was in a remote corner, people hadn't seen it as well because it was posted when I started campaigning, so it was down in the post, but I don't know.
It's up there, right?
It was still online, so
And it's up
I
there
take
for people to
responsibility.
see. Yeah. And it's interesting when you said about the posters. So this, to be clear, of course, there's a deadline for when, you have to take down all the campaign posters. And you're saying that you had no part in having this poster be up past that deadline.
No, because just before the deadline, I personally, with 2 of my team members, I was going around to all the cottages, all the buildings possible with cupcakes, and trying my best because it was the last day of the promotion.
Right.
So I was giving it my best, and I also made sure that I would have my team members remove the posters, and then I would go around myself to check if there are any posters left and get rid of them.
And this was in the H building, and you checked the H building?
Yes, I did. And I had posters put up on the first floor of the H building, and these guys, when they emailed me, the posters were on the second floor. And during those 10 days of campaigning, I did not even put a poster over there. So why would I put it up at the end of the campaigning period?
Right.
What's the use?
Yeah, that's really fishy. I mean, of course we know that Tim Brilhante was sort of disqualified for, more social media-based reasons that he sort of outlined online. And he's going to be appealing that decision tomorrow. Gotta ask you, why aren't you doing the same?
In my case, I just ran the elections for the experience.
Right.
Since I knew that I'm new in this country, it's just 6 months that I'm here.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of trying to adjust with the timetable, with my assignments, and the HSF work that I was doing, because I already run a dance club as well. So I had to attend meetings for that as well.
You had a lot on your plate.
Prepare my choreography and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was certain that there is a question of winning or losing for me. And in the case of Tim, it was winning for sure. And he already had a majority of votes.
Right.
So for me, it was only the experience. And all I wanted was my dignity, just leave with respect. Because, it was still a commendable achievement in my opinion. I think so. I'm not posting, but then, yeah.
Yeah, you put it out there, right?
Yeah, so I was giving it my best. So yeah, that would be it. So I was like, it was more than an experience for me. I did learn a lot. In fact, the disqualification made me learn a lot more. And
That's always how it goes, doesn't it? Right?
yeah, so I've had my chance, and I'm sort of happy. So I'm like satisfied. So I don't have any issues now. Like if I do get a chance to appeal, that would be great because I would want to be heard.
Right.
But I wouldn't want to fight for it because in my case, there's no majority. It's just my friends and friends of friends. So approximately 400 students that would go up to, right?
Right.
In case of Timothy, it's more than 2,500 students who did cast a vote, and I was one of them.
And we have that number for sure. It's around
Yes.
2,500.
Yes.
So that's a huge margin.
That's a huge margin.
Yeah.
And the total number of people who voted was 5,000, so approximately 5,000. So he has like half of the votes.
Yeah, which is a lot. I mean, what do you sort of think of his decision to appeal? Do you think it's going to work in his favor? I mean, it's a long shot.
It's actually a long shot.
Yeah.
It's a little dicey because the games that HSF plays, like placing the power in one person's hand, like for my disqualification as well as Timothy's, it was just Natalia who had the decision. She had the power, so even if we made an appeal to someone else,
Right.
it wouldn't work out because we just had to prove it to her. And since she had already made her mind, that wouldn't have been possible. So when it comes to the appeal, I don't know. I think Tim might stand a chance if he has a lot of support. So I would want to extend my support towards him for sure.
Well, that's great. And I mean, I guess sort of moving forward, this was sort of your first experience with HSF. What do you think they should sort of change or they could do better in the election process?
Many things. Firstly, to begin with, if they want to keep an appeals process, all I would tell them to do is just keep in appeals for the disqualified candidates as well, because that's what it is meant for. Because if you don't find the process fair,
Right.
that's when you raise the appeal. And as long as you're running in the race, you wouldn't want to do that because that thing only delays the process.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want to do that then, but then once you're disqualified, you would want to get back. And that's when you would want to be heard in front of a committee and not one person.
Right. But it's sort of once you're disqualified, you just don't really have a say? Is that how it is?
You don't get
Oh.
to be there around HSF as well. Like there was an all candidate meeting at the end of the elections,
Right.
and we couldn't even enter the boardroom to put our points up.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were waiting downstairs, and we asked all our friends to sort of work out a way, because all the candidates, they're supposed to sign a petition that says that everything was run in a fair manner. So we spoke to each and every candidate, me and Tim together, and we sort of appealed to them, like we sort of told them that this is what it was done last night, and since we do not, like there's a crunch time and there's nothing that we can do about it, so we would just request you to not sign that form and delay the results so that we can raise an appeal. And they sort of tried their best. They put in the best effort they could. It did, they did delay the results for 2 hours, but in the end, HSF was able to convince them somehow.
Well, I mean, some would say it was a very commendable effort on your part. I mean, as you mentioned, you've only been here for 6 months, right? You're an international student from India in the Global Business Management program. Do you see yourself sort of staying involved with HSF in the future? Is this something you'd still like to pursue or not?
Because of the fairness, like due to many reasons, like
Yeah.
I had many issues during my campaigning period as well.
Right.
Like the events that were approved, first week events were not approved at all, and the second week when my events were approved, I was supposed to get a microphone and speakers, which were not given to me on time, and many other issues related to the events, which didn't go well. Like I had events planned, I had a dance performance planned, and I couldn't execute it, all because of them. Like they wouldn't give me the equipment on time. So I wouldn't want to do a lot. Like since I run the dance club, I would want to work in that and just keep it to that. That would be it, right?
Yeah.
Not more involvement so that I don't get disheartened all the more. So that's it.
Right, that makes perfect sense. And, it's kind of unfortunate that it sort of panned out that way for you, but I think it's awesome that, you still ran for HSF, which, a lot of students don't even come close to doing. And yeah, thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Great.